I remember. You tell me if you remember this. We're in Doug Collins' office. You know how I feel about Doug Collins. I had to woosah so many times, so you know what I mean. I don't knock his block off. It was tough. The struggle was real with Doug Collins. But
Yeah.
but when we had a conversation before, and this was after the NBA Buzz interview, where I was saying, well, it was Doug Collins that was doing everything. He was like, yeah, but who you think gave Doug Collins the order? And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right, Kwame. I was like, it's not like Doug Collins was doing it on his own. He was, you just didn't see, MJ doing it. You saw it happening through Doug Collins. And, I remember one time in the office, we was in Doug Collins' office. Tell me if you remember this. It was just me and you. I don't remember nobody else being there. BJ might have been somewhere in the corner somewhere.
He always there.
You remember BJ? Yeah, he was somewhere there. But Doug Collins, he said to me that he didn't think that I would be in the league beyond my rookie contract.
I remember that.
And then he said to you, and he said, and you will be the worst number one pick that was ever picked. He said that to both of us. And I looked at you and my fist balled up like this. I was about to knock him.
No, that's why I'm looking at you like, no.
I was like, and so we looked at each other, and I'm like in disbelief, like, did he just say this to us? I'm looking, and you kind of looked at me like, calm down. You know what I mean? Calm down. You didn't even respond to what he said, right? But you looked at me like, calm down, man. I was like, I'm sitting here, and we just both turned around and left. And I was like, can you believe this dude? You know what I'm saying? But I tell that story a lot of times because I tell it when I'm talking to young men, and I do the correlation that you're going to have people who, if you react to them, like say I would have reacted to him, and if I would have hit him, he would have been in a coma somewhere. You know what I'm saying? The old decrepit dude. And I would have never played a basketball again.
Right. He ain't that important. I would have dove on your ass. Excuse me, I'd be like, no.
But that's amazing. But it's amazing that you had that level of maturity at 18 to understand that I don't have to worry about what this dude is saying right now. And I would always be amazed at your level of poise to where all those situations where Doug Collins was doing things like that, where MJ's doing different things. Then when Oakland came the next year, we're doing different, you know what I mean? Trying all the different stuff, disrespectful stuff that, kicking the ball in the stands, there's a whole lot more stories that we could tell too, that MJ doing disrespectful things to you and specifically to demean you. And me seeing Doug Collins giggling. Like when you talk about the giggling, I would see Doug Collins giggling about it and BJ giggling about it and different people giggle. Like when you talk about, Brennan giggling and stuff like that, people giggling about it while it was happening, but you having the maturity to say you was like on a different level. And I'm looking at you, because I'm still looking at you to see how you're going to react. And you have this poise about you where you didn't let it affect you. And I was always wanting to ask you, we've had these conversations, but I want you to explain to people how you were able to have that amount of poise at that young age. Do you know what I mean?
Well, for a couple of reasons. One, my brothers I got drafted to the NBA. My brothers went to prison as teenagers. So I'm looking at it like this. It ain't about me. I came through a homeless shelter. I've been through so many worse things. And if the worst thing it is some guys who's trying, I knew what they were trying to do. So you're trying to get a young kid, you're trying to prove to the world that this young kid can't handle pressure. So you're creating situations for me to overreact to. So you can say, see, look, I told you, see, look. So the whole time I seen them doing things that by me not overreacting, it was pissing them off. So I used to just go back and laugh like, that I never let them see me sweat. So I'm giggling. I'm a big goofy dude by nature. So I'm back giggling like, they think I'm going to get mad that they kick balls in the stands and they got to pay me on the 15th for my mama to stay on that golf course. I don't care what they do because I know what they're trying to get this one and done rule accomplished. Right. And I knew that I can't beat this machine. Right. The only thing that I'm in control of is how I react to it. Was it easy? Most times, but was it hard? Some of the stuff they would say, yeah.
I'm sure.
But I'm connected to something. Like I said, when you come from what I come from, you understand why they're upset. They're upset about money. A bunch of rich people didn't get their way. A bunch of rich people didn't get me in Florida, and a bunch of these black boys were coming to make all this money. I stayed in the league 12 years, and I could have stayed a little bit longer. But LeBron has been in for how long? If these high school players are coming out making money for over 2 decades, these kids come out at 18, they'll be able to play up until late 30s, almost 40.
Right.
So this is about money. What happened to me was about money. And it's interesting now that 20 years later it come twofold that I'm exposing that, and it's the truth. And they know it's true. That's why they won't answer the question of why were you sending Stephen A to high schools and colleges? You wanted to disrupt these little kids' mind to say, well, we can't be good enough to be the pick. Look at this guy that Michael Jordan drafted, and he was wrong about him. So you little kids are not good enough. Look at the way this kid is playing. He can't even catch. They didn't say one good thing about me in 20 years.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So you think I'm going to overreact when I'm fighting a machine?
Right.
No. I just used to fly my mama up. She would give me some of that mama's cooking. When I would getting ready to overreact, I'm tired of this. And she'd be like, my mama give it to me raw. What you talking about? Where your brother at, boy? Your brother got this and this and that. Do you know what's going on out here? Do you know who you helping? This is bigger than you. Stop worrying about you. Stop complaining. And I say, you know what? Dang, I do got a Mercedes outside.
Right.
You know, they yelling at me for 2-3 hours. They working me out 5 hours before the game and then putting me in exhausted. But they telling the people I can't play. But every time I get a chance to play where I'm not exhausted and I get 30 minutes a game, that's why I keep saying, look at the analytics. If you look up the Charlotte data and how much media coverage I got for those games, it was non-existent. It was like I wasn't even in the league. And I'm getting a double-double, and by the first quarter and the third quarter, I got a double-double. There was zero media coverage. Then the reason why I know that what Stephen A does affect these guys' bottom line and their money, because my agent at the time is Mark Barstein. I got the numbers that are exactly the same as DeAndre Jordan. And you saw what DeAndre Jordan got. So I'm like, okay, it's on. They tell me, he said, Kwame, I wish you could be a fly on the wall in these meetings when I talk analytics. They keep talking about how Stephen A saying you a bust.
Yep. I mean, I interviewed the former GM Babcock, and you heard right out of his mouth. He said, no, there was all these rumors floating around about Kwame, and he said that he wished he didn't pay attention to them.